Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today, we're pulling back the curtain on a case that's just pure drama, a murder that happened, quite literally, on a theater stage.
That's right. We're diving into the investigation that kicked off the moment Richard Draco, a huge star, four-time Tony winner, was killed publicly during the final scene of a play called Witness.
And the sources we have is basically the full police file from Lieutenant Eve Dallas, who incredibly was actually in the audience, plus witness accounts, background checks, the works.
Yeah, and our mission here isn't just to recount a thrilling crime story.
No, exactly. We're digging into the why, the motives, ambition, revenge, this really deep historical pain, and how the killer used the artifice of theater itself to hide a very real, very cold-blooded act.
It's fascinating because the sources show this wasn't a spur-of-the-moment thing. The killer was driven by something that happened decades ago, and they planned this meticulously.
Right. It wasn't just about who could have done it, because, frankly, almost everyone seemed to dislike Draco.
Yeah, the list was long. It was about figuring out who had a motive strong enough to commit not just one murder, but two, and then cover it all up.
Okay, so let's talk about the victim first. Richard Draco. You read the files, and prominent actor quickly becomes something much darker.
Oh, yeah. Vile is a word that comes up. Massive ego, childish, cruel professionally, and apparently heavily into some high-end illegal substances.
Like Exotica, Zing, Zeus.
Yeah.
The files mention those.
Exactly. He wasn't just difficult. He was, destructive. Rourke, that's Lieutenant Dallas's husband, who also happened to own the theater and back the play.
Convenient.
Right. He confirmed Draco's reputation, reliant on chemicals, abusive behavior, especially towards women. One co-star straight up called him a vile form of life.
Wow. Okay, so that sets the emotional stage, so to speak.
Definitely tells you the kind of atmosphere the investigators walked into.
And the crime itself. I mean, the theatricality is almost unbelievable.
It really is. Draco's character, Leonard Vole, is stabbed by Irina Mansfield's character, Christine Vole, right at the climax. But the prop knife, this specially designed retractable thing, it had been swacked.
For a real blade, 8 inches of steel.
Think about that calculation. Murdering someone in front of hundreds of witnesses, all expecting fake drama, fake blood.
The killer literally used the audience's expectations as camouflage.
Until the scream. Dallas, who was in a box seat, she heard it. Knew instantly it wasn't acting. It was real terror.
So she takes charge immediately, seals the stage, gets the actors off.
And right away, the investigation into Draco himself starts confirming his character. They search his penthouse.
And find a stash of wild rabbit, which the files describe as a pretty potent date rape drug.
Exactly. High-grade, expensive, works specifically on women. And that discovery was huge.
Yeah, it shifts things, doesn't it? He's not just an arrogant jerk.
He's a predator. Calculated. Using his status, it adds this whole other layer of potential motive vengeance, not just dislike.
So initially, all eyes are on Irina Mansfield. She's holding the knife.
Right, and she confesses immediately, but she's confessing to the character's action in the play, insisting she thought it was the prop.
But here's where Rourke's involvement becomes crucial again, as the owner and backer.
He knows everyone. He hired them. He gives Dallas the inside scoop immediately, the histories, the feuds, the financial troubles, stuff that would normally take weeks to uncover.
Saves critical time, especially in a high-profile case like this.
Absolutely instrumental.
Okay, let's talk about those motives then. Because the sources make it clear Draco basically spent decades cultivating enemies.
Oh, for sure. The list is pretty long. You can almost group them, Vengeance versus, say, greed or ambition.
So, on the vengeance side.
You've got Kenneth Stiles, another co-star, openly hated Draco. And Dallas, she digs into sealed records and finds this history going back 24 years.
Right, this is where the past really starts to surface. Stiles, under a different name back then, apparently violently assaulted Draco, put him in the hospital.
And the reason. Draco had abused a woman Stiles cared about deeply, Andra Carvel. Stiles ended up paying a massive settlement, $5 million, changed his name. He essentially sacrificed a lot back then.
So his motive is this old, deep-seated, maybe righteous anger.
Exactly. Decades old. Then you contrast that with someone like Michael Proctor, the understudy.
His motive seems more straightforward, right? Career ambition.
Yeah, classic transactional motive. Proctor apparently idolized Draco's acting, but despised the man personally, especially after Draco threw a prop at him during a rehearsal, hit him.
Ouch. And Proctor needed the break.
Desperately. Struggling financially, living cheap. Stepping into Draco's role, that's career making. Money, fame, ego boost. Immediate game, not old wounds.
Okay. And then there were the women.
Yes. Draco seemed to collect and discard them. Carly Lansdowne, another co-star, she was his latest lover, apparently.
And he dumped her.
Publicly. Humiliated her in front of everyone. So yeah, she's got motive. Resentment, anger.
And there was another one, a reporter.
Nadine First. She comes to Dallas privately, admits she'd slept with Draco years ago, and then again the night he died, kind of trying to, I don't know, get some power back.
Okay.
But then she realizes, too late, that he'd actually filmed their encounters the first time around without her knowing.
Oh, wow. Just nasty. Psychological cruelty seems like his specialty.
Exactly. So Dallas is juggling all these strong suspects. Deep historical vengeance, immediate ambition, recent humiliation.
It's a lot. But then something happens that complicates everything. Why kill again if the first murder was so perfectly staged?
Right. Linus Quim, the head stagehand, found hanged backstage, made to look like a suicide.
Complete with a planted note suggesting remorse over the prop knife or something.
Yeah, but the scene, it was too neat. And the investigation quickly showed Quim was anything but suicidal.
What did they find?
Well, he had gambling debt, sure, but he'd just placed a massive winning bet. And he was looking up flights to Tahiti. He wasn't planning on dying.
Who was murdered.
Definitely. And they found evidence he was blackmailing the killer. Sent a note. I know what you did. I want $500,000.
Okay, so Quim figured something out, tried to cash in, and got silenced.
Exactly. And the murder of Quim, that changes the killer's profile instantly.
How so?
It shifts it from, potentially impulsive rage, which maybe Stiles or Carly or even Proctor might have been capable of in the moment, to something much colder, calculated control.
This killer wasn't just angry. They were thinking steps ahead, capable of a second premeditated murder just to cover their tracks.
Precisely. Which makes some of the more impulsive suspects seem less likely. It points towards someone capable of long-term planning and cold execution.
Which forces Dallas to look even harder at those deep historical motives, right?
Exactly. Back to that 24-year-old incident, the assault. Anja Carvel. The woman Stiles defended.
And this is where it gets incredibly dark. They track Anja Carvel's history.
And discover she gave up a child for adoption 24 years ago, right around the time of her affair with Draco and a subsequent suicide attempt.
The timing lines up perfectly.
And then comes the connection that's just horrific.
Carly Lansdowne, the young actress Draco, just humiliated.
She's the biological daughter, Richard Draco's and Anja Carvel's daughter.
Oh my God.
And worse, Draco knew. The sources say he knew Carly was his daughter when he pursued her, seduced her, then dumped her, apparently for some kind of sick narcissistic thrill.
That's monstrous. Truly monstrous.
It's hard to even process that level of depravity.
So that revelation, it points the finger right back, doesn't it?
Back to the original suspect holding the knife. Dallas arranges a confrontation, and Irina Mansfield confesses.
She is Anja Carvel.
Yes. Changed her name, rebuilt her life after giving up her daughter, became this respected actress. But she was Anja all along.
And the motive. It wasn't just the old betrayal.
No. It was decades of trauma, capped off by finding out what Draco had done to their daughter, knowingly seducing and humiliating her.
So she chose the play's final scene.
Because life imitated art, she said. Draco was Vol, the ruthless user who betrays the woman who loves him, and in her version, he also preyed on their child. The play gave her the stage for her own form of justice.
And Quim, the stagehand.
She admits killing him, too. Said he tried to blackmail her over switching the knives, called him an ugly little man, and said she'd had her fill of ugly little men, clearly referring to Draco as well.
Cold. Calculated.
Absolutely. But here's where the source material gets really interesting, in the aftermath.
What happens after the confession?
Dallas, despite having confessions to 2 murders, one a public execution, the other a cold-blooded silencing, she immediately gives Mansfield, or Carvel, legal advice.
Really? What kind of advice?
Tells her how to plead diminished capacity and extreme emotional distress. Dallas figures, given what Draco did, especially to his own daughter, a jury might be sympathetic. It could avoid a long, messy public trial.
So the homicide cop is essentially helping the confessed killer strategize her defense.
It seems that way. The source is presented as Dallas navigating this gray area where the strict application of the law feels insufficient, maybe, given the sheer awfulness of the victim's actions.
It's like she recognized the why behind the crime, even while processing the what.
Yeah, almost an acknowledgement that the system had failed to stop Draco's abuse for decades, and this was the result. Her advice seems like a pragmatic nod to the killer's motive, maybe even the perceived justice of it, despite the method.
Wow. Okay. This has been quite the deep dive. Just
Yeah.
stunning. The reveal that Irina Mansfield was Anja Carvel acting out this decades-long plan. It's
Yeah.
incredible.
Driven by this unimaginable pain and betrayal, yeah. A dual murder, one for what she saw as justice, one for self-preservation. And using the theater, the ultimate illusion, to do it.
The way she used the play itself,
Yeah,
it's chillingly brilliant.
absolutely. Draco's own arrogance played into it. He was so wrapped up in his own performance, his own drama, he never saw the real knife coming. He was killed by the very illusion he lived in.
So, thinking about this for you, the listener, the sources really seem to suggest that Draco's death, even though it was murder, felt like a kind of justice to many involved, even maybe the investigators on some level.
Which leaves us with a really provocative thought, doesn't it? When someone powerful commits acts of profound abuse, seemingly beyond the law's reach, and their victim finally takes revenge through calculated theatrical violence, is that just an inevitable outcome?
Does personal vengeance become the only recourse when the system fails?
Yeah. It makes you wonder if the unmasking of the killer here was less about solving a crime and more about witnessing a kind of brutal, long overdue moral balancing act.
A chilling thought indeed. We'll leave you to mull that over. That's all the time we have for this deep dive.